You are wasting hours on AI tasks that could take minutes. You are using outdated AI models while Google just drops something that changes everything. You are missing out on tools that can actually understand what you need without you spelling it out 10 times. And most people have no idea this even exists yet. Google just released Gemini 3, and it is completely different from anything you have used before. Hey everyone, I am Ava, and today we are breaking down the Gemini 3 update that Google released on November 18th. This is not just another model update. This is a complete shift in how AI works. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what Gemini 3 can do and how to use it to save time in your day-to-day work. Let me start with something wild. Gemini 3 scored 1,501 on LM Arena. That is the first AI model to ever cross 1,500. For context, GPT 5.1 scored around 1,440, Claude 4.5 scored around 1,460. This is not a small jump. This is Google saying we are back in the game. But scores do not tell you everything. What matters is what this thing can actually do. So let me show you 15 real examples straight from Google's own documentation and testing. First, multimodal understanding. Gemini 3 can handle text, images, video, audio, and code all at once. You can upload a 1-hour video of yourself playing basketball, and it will analyze your form, identify mistakes, and give you specific drills to improve. It does not just watch the video, it understands what it is seeing. It knows you are the player. It filters out background noise. It gives you coaching level feedback. Second, the context window is 1 million tokens. That means you can feed it an entire textbook, an entire code base, or hours of video content in one go. You do not need to break it into chunks. You do not need to summarize it first. Just upload it and ask questions. Third, it can code full applications from scratch with what Google calls vibe coding. You describe what you want in plain language, and it builds the entire thing. One developer asked it to create a retro dance night landing page. Gemini 3 built the whole site, interactive animations, responsive design, everything in one shot. No back and forth, no debugging 50 errors, just working code. Now here is where it gets interesting. Gemini 3 can create what Google calls generative interfaces. You ask it a question, and instead of just giving you text, it can build an interactive tool to help you understand the answer. Ask it about RNA, and it will code a simulation so you can see how RNA works instead of just reading about it. Ask it about nuclear fusion, and it will build you a visual explanation with interactive elements. Fourth, AI mode in search now uses Gemini 3. When you search for something complex, Google can detect when an interactive tool would help, code it on the spot, and add it to your search results. Want to compare 2 loan options? It will build you a custom loan calculator. Want to plan a trip? It will give you an interactive itinerary you can customize. Fifth, there is something called visual layout and dynamic view in the Gemini app. These are experimental features that move beyond text responses. You ask Gemini to plan a 3-day trip to Rome, and you get a magazine-style layout with photos, maps, and modules you can tap to explore and customize. It is not just a list, it is a full visual experience. And dynamic view is even crazier. You ask Gemini to explain the Van Gogh gallery with life context for each piece, and it designs and codes a unique interface just for that prompt. You can tap, scroll, and interact with the response in ways that make learning feel natural. Sixth, presentation coaching. Record yourself giving a presentation, upload it with your slides, and Gemini 3 analyzes everything. Your pacing, your tone, your body language, how well your slides match what you are saying, where you lost the audience's attention. It gives you specific feedback on what to improve. Seventh, scientific topics with coded visualizations. You can ask Gemini 3 to break down a dense research paper, and it will create interactive guides with code visualizations to help you understand complex concepts. Upload a paper on quantum mechanics, and it will build you visual tools to explore the concepts instead of just summarizing the text. Eighth, custom infographics. Nano Banana Pro, which is Gemini 3 Pro Image, can create detailed infographics about anything. Weather in a specific city, how to make a specific recipe, care instructions for a houseplant. It uses Gemini 3's reasoning and real-world knowledge to visualize information in ways that help you learn. Ninth, hobby improvement. Upload a video of yourself doing any activity, whether it is playing guitar, painting, or cooking. And Gemini 3 will analyze your technique and give you specific advice on how to improve. It understands spatial relationships, movements, and timing in a way that previous models could not. When I first started using these tools, I was overwhelmed. There were so many options, so many features. I did not know where to start. That is when I found this community called AI Profit Boardroom. 1,800 members all focused on learning AI together and sharing what actually works. It taught me which workflows save time versus which ones waste it. The community shares real use cases and practical implementations. If you are serious about using AI to improve your work and skills, check it out. Link in description. 10th, making static images interactive. You can take a static image like a board game layout or a napkin sketch, and Gemini 3 can turn it into a functional, interactive experience. Upload a diagram, and it can create an interactive lesson where you can explore the concepts by clicking and interacting instead of just looking at a static image. 11th, illustrating scale differences. Want to understand the difference between a subatomic particle and the galaxy? Gemini 3 can code interactive visualizations that let you see those differences in scale in a way that makes sense. It can synthesize information and follow complex creative instructions to build tools that help you learn. 12th, Google Anti-Gravity. This is a new agentic development platform that uses Gemini 3 to act as your coding partner. It operates across the editor, terminal, and browser. You can build faster and manage intelligent agents that generate code complex enough to work in real-world applications. Developers are using it to solve classic problems like the cart pull problem with working code. 13th, custom trip itineraries. Ask Gemini to plan a trip, and you get an explorable itinerary with photos, maps, and modules you can interact with to customize your plans. It is not just a text list. It is a full visual planning experience. 14th, Gemini Agent. This is experimental and handles multi-step tasks directly in the Gemini app. It can help you triage your emails, organize your calendar, do deep research, and browse the web, all while keeping you in control. You can confirm critical actions before they happen, and you can take over anytime. 15th, complex queries in AI mode. You can ask extremely specific questions and get richer, more visual responses. Want to know the best surf conditions based on specific criteria? Gemini 3 uses its multimodal understanding and agentic coding to build visual elements like images, tables, and grids to help you choose. Now let me talk about the benchmarks, because this is where Gemini 3 really shines. On GPQA Diamond, which tests graduate-level science knowledge, Gemini 3 scored 91.9%. GPT 5.1 scored around 88%. On ARC AGI 2, which tests abstract reasoning, Gemini 3 scored 31.1% in standard mode and 45.1% with deep think mode. 5 scored 17.6%. That is nearly double the performance. On Humanity's Last Exam, one of the hardest reasoning benchmarks, Gemini 3 scored 37.5% in standard mode and 41% with deep think mode. GPT 5.1 scored around 26.5%. On Amy 2025 without tools, Gemini 3 scored 67.6%. GPT 5 scored around 43%. These gaps are not small. They show real improvements in reasoning and problem solving. Gemini 3 also leads on Live Code Bench Pro for algorithmic coding with an ELO score of 2,439. It is about 200 points ahead of GPT 5.1. And on SWE Bench Verified, which tests real-world software engineering tasks, Gemini 3 scored 76.2%. Claude Sonnet 4.5 scored 77.2%. So Claude still has a slight edge on debugging existing code, but Gemini 3 dominates novel algorithm creation. What does this mean for you? It means Gemini 3 is better at understanding complex problems, reasoning through multiple steps, and generating code that actually works. It is better at handling long documents, processing video and audio, and creating interactive experiences. And here is the thing, it is available now, for free. You can use Gemini 3 Pro in the Gemini app today. There are limits on how many queries you can run if you are on the free plan, but you can test all these features without paying anything. Google AI Plus, Pro, and Ultra plans give you higher limits and access to Gemini 3 Deep Think mode, which pushes reasoning even further. So how do you actually use this? Go to the Gemini app. Upload a video, a document, code, or images. Ask it to analyze, explain, or create something. Be specific about what you want. The more detail you give, the better the output. For coding, use Google AI Studio or the Gemini API. You can prototype ideas, generate full applications, and test your code in the same interface. For search, use AI mode and let Gemini 3 build interactive tools for you. For planning, use the visual layout and dynamic view features in the Gemini app. If you are looking to dive deeper into AI tools and actually implement them in your work, I recommend AI Profit Boardroom. Over 1,800 people learning how to use AI effectively. Everyone shares real experiences. What is working, what is not. Which tools are worth your time? Which ones to skip? No hype, just solid information and practical guidance from people doing the work. It has helped me stay on top of updates and figure out how to actually apply them. Link in description if you want to check it out. If you want the full process, SOPs, and 100+A, I use cases like this one. Join the AI Success Lab. Links in the comments and description. You will get all the video notes from there, plus access to our community of 38,000 members who are crushing it with AI. The AI landscape just shifted. Google went from being behind to being competitive again. Gemini 3 is not perfect, but it is powerful, it is fast, and it is available now. Use it to learn faster, build better tools, and improve your workflows. That is what matters. Thanks for watching. If this helped you understand Gemini 3, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more AI breakdowns like this, and I will see you in the next one.